Shalom. So, today we are doing chapter 27 of Genesis, Bereshit. Uh, Now it came to pass when Isaac was old and his eyes were so dim that he could not see, that he called Esav, his older son, and said to him, "My son." And he answered him, "Here I am." Uh, When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could no longer see, he called for Esav, his older son, and said to him, "My son, here I am," he answered. Uh, it came to pass when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see that he called Esav, his elder son, and he said to him, "My son," and he said to him, "Here I am." ויהי כי זקן יצחק ותכהנה עיניו מראות ויקרא את עשיו בנו הגדול ויאמר אליו בני ויאמר אליו הנני. Okay, so ויהי like normal, zaken means literally beard, old. Yitzchak. Um, so the to be is well, I mean Veyehi, there is the Veyehi, but that Isaac was old. The to be there is implied. Vetichena. So the root here is kahe, chaf hey hey, I believe. Yes, chaf hey hey. And dim, faint, dark, I would say. Arabic, they're saying weak or cowardly. Yeah. The it's in a strange well, not strange. So a naim is feminine. Why is it saying it is masculine? So I thought a naim is a masculine is a feminine noun. Anyway, that Tichena is the third person feminine plural of Tiche, right? So his eyes became dark or became dim or weak. Um, Miraot. So that's a prepositional mem there. Reot is written bechisaron. Um, so it's a little strange that way, but yeah, where his eyes were too weak to see. Reot comes from the root resh aleph hey. Okay, Vayikra et Esav. So he called, right, Esav Beno, his son, Hagadol, the older, the bigger one, literally. Um, Vayomer Alav, and he said to him, that this is preposition with Aleph, Beni, my son, Vayomer Alav, Hineni. And he said to him, so, I mean, it doesn't actually say answered. It repeats, he said, he said. Hineni. So, Hine is the interjection I usually translate as behold, and this is the this is the it's conjugated first person common singular. Hineni, behold, I am here. I mean, this is used a lot. Hineni is used a lot. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. Nothing too out of, abnormal. Then he said, "Behold, now I am old. I do not know the day of my death." Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death." And he said, "Behold, now I have grown old. I do not know the day of my death." And I'm not going to do the Rashis. Vayomer hinena zakanti lo yadati miyom moti. Interesting. So, and he said, Vayomer, hine, right? Behold, na. Usually I translate na as please. It's an interjection. Makes sense to translate it here as now. Um, Zakanti, so this is the verb form of Zain Kuf Nun, which is beard or old, right? I have become old, right? Lo Yadati, I do not know, right? It has not been made known to me. And again, I mean, you can look at, um, I did discuss the whole question of whether we're talking about a two-letter root, Dalet Ayin, or Yud Dalet Ayin, or Dalet Ayin Hey. Um, but yeah, it's to know, and this is the more intimate form of knowledge. Yom Moti. So this is a construct of um, day Yom and Mavet death, and it's Moti my death. So the day that I will die, the day of my death. Okay, next verse. Now therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me. Now then, get your equipment, your quiver and bow, and go out to the open country to hunt some wild game for me. So now sharpen your implements, your sword, and take your bow, and go forth to the field and hunt game for me. There are several grammatical Rashis here. Well, I'm not going to do the Genesis Rabbah one. Um, for the tlat, right? So chalecha talyecha. Rashi says tali is speaking about a cherev, about a sword, which is usually hung, litlota. So talui means hung, like to hang something, or even so death by hanging or crucifixion can be called talui. Okay, verse 3. Ve'ata, so et means time, ata is right now. So ve'ata, and right now. Sa na. So sa is the command form of nun sameh, nun sin aleph, which is to raise, carry, and this is the command form. He's telling him take. Na, again, usually I translate it as please. It can also translate as now, like we did in the previous verse. Chelecha. So a kli is any utensil, really, in Hebrew. Yeah, an article, utensil, vessel, can even refer to clothes. And klezayin are weapons specifically. But your chelecha, your kelim, your utensils, your things. Talyecha, so the root, let's see what they say. Tili, a quiver with its arrows, so that's the only place where this is used in this way. And I guess the Septuagint calls it a pharetra. From I don't know where this thing is from. Probably from tala, which is to hang, and they're saying like a quiver would be something that's slung over. Um, yeah. So there are, yeah. So 28 times that tali and tului are used, including Deuteronomy 21:23, which Christians say refers to Jesus. Um, so yeah, so Taliecha is something of yours which is hung, and Rashi seems to think that that's a sword, which I guess hangs maybe in its scabbard. Um, yeah, is worn kind of like that. I guess that's your hung thing, whatever that hanging thing is. Quiver or sword or whatever. The kashtecha, so a keshet is a bow. It can include rainbow, right? So when we talk, when Noah, right, there's the rainbow. That's also called a keshet. So a keshet is a bow. I mean, and this I think is used many times in the Bible. Don't know what kush is. Kush to lay bait or like the only time it's used. Not sure. Not sure I agree with that. Kuf vav shin. They're saying Assyrian, Ethiopic, plural, kushta. I mean, it seems like it's a common Semitic noun meaning bow. Yes, he used 76 times in the Bible. So it's clear what it means. The question, I guess, is whether it's comes from a Semitic root, and honestly, I don't know if it does. I could just as well believe um, that it was. It's a um, either it's borrowed and there's a word. I mean, just that word means bow, um, and that was just a common term for it. Or the word kash actually means straw. So I could believe that a keshet could be related to the term straw. I don't know why they're not saying that, and I doubt Rashi talks about that at all. Yeah, there's no Rashi on verse 4. Yeah, I mean it's clear what it means. A keshet is a bow. Vetse, so this is again in the command form of Tzaddik Aleph Hey, which means to go out, to leave, right? Latzet, to leave. So, and again, this is one of those things which may in fact be a two-letter root in the Hebrew, because um, to find things is matzah, right? To find, and to leave is latzet. Um, so I, it, I do think the two radical thing does work. Hasadeh, so go out hasadeh. I wasn't expecting it to be in this form, right? Go out the field. I mean, yeah. Um, there is a bit of um, there is a bit of alliteration here with Said, which is to hunt, right? So Sadeh is with a sin and Tzaddik, so that might be the reason why that word is used here is Hasadeh. Hasadeh is a field, right? The field. Vetsuda. So this is Suda li Said. So what we see here is a difference between the Kativ and the Kri. The Kativ is with the K, which is how it is written in the scroll. There's a Hey at the end, but we don't, when we read it, we don't pronounce it as uh, Seda, which is game. We, I mean, it's the feminine. We do Said, which is the masculine, and yeah, I mean, the difference is the hey there. Okay. I mean, yeah, and Sadik Vav Dalet, yeah, is the root for hunt, and there is 18 places where it's used. Also, the word Said is used 17 times. So yeah, it's pretty clear what it's talking about. And you see the alliteration and the repetition, right? And hunt for me, hunt, or things that are hunted, game, okay. Uh, oh, was there a Rashi? Vetsudali. Not gonna do the Rashis, even though I always end up. Okay. Um, and make me savory or tasty food, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die. And make for me tasty foods as I like, and bring them to me, and I will eat, in order that my soul will bless you before I die. Ve'aseh li mat'amim ka'asher ahavti, ve'havia li ve'ochla, ba'avur tevarechcha nafshi beterem amut. Okay. So ve'aseh, command form, right? And make or do, right? Li for me, mat amim. So this comes from the word ta'am, which means to taste, right? Tet ayin mem. Can also mean to reason, right? At, in modern Hebrew, a ta'am for something is the reason for it, um, but it also means taste. So matamim are tasty appetizer. I wouldn't say appetizer necessarily, but yeah, tasty things that are tasty. Ka'asher, such as, right, this prepositional chaf and pronoun relative. Ahavti. So literally, it's aleph hey bet, to love, right? That I, well, it is in the perfect I, that I loved, that I love, um, that I prefer, that I like. I wouldn't overemphasize the love here, um, especially havia, right? Ahavti, v'havia. So you know, when you're reading it in the Hebrew, there is that alliteration. This is a poetic text. Um, so the root is bet vav aleph, to come. The hefil, the causative of to come, is to bring. So and bring. Um, the hey at the end there is not the third person feminine singular. if that would have had a dagesh in the hey and would have been an aspirated hey, the haviyah, right? Bring it. Um, that this is not an aspirated hey, and it's not. There's no dagesh. Obviously, you can disagree with the cantillations since they came a lot later than the consonantal text, but it doesn't really change things. Yeah, li to me, ve'ochela, and I will eat. Um, this is in the cohortive, which is kind of interesting. And I shall eat. I may eat. I mean, it is the hey at the end tells you that it's cohortive, uh, which kind of makes me think the hey at the end here should be cohortive as well. So the cohortative form is used to express indirect commands and other similar actions with varying degrees of desirability as determined by the context. The cohortative form looks very similar to the imperfect, but functions in a sentence more like an imperative, like a command. Cohortative verbs appear only in the first person form. Similarly, imperatives only in the second person and jussive only in the third person. A cohortative verb does not carry the full force of a command, we must. It conveys a stronger meaning than a single, a simple suggestion. We could do this. The meaning is somewhere in the middle. In English, a cohortative is often translated with a helping verb such as let, want, or will, depending on context. Thus, the cohortative verb functions as an indirect command. The reader must examine the context to determine the strength of desirability being expressed in each specific instance. So, yeah, all of these are in the first person. So, I mean, maybe I haven't been paying attention enough to the cohortative, but yeah, this is in the first person. Ba'avur, so the this means so that. Kind of like ever ein bet resh is the root of Hebrew, so across, to go over, or because ba'avur is a common term. Tevarecha, right? So nafshi, interesting. The nefesh is feminine, right? So my soul. This is a particular. This is actually considered the lowest, um, the most physical level of the soul. So kind of makes sense. But my nefesh will bless you. And that's why it's in the feminine, right? Tevarecha, um, imperfect. The root obviously being bet resh chaf, which means um, ni and bless. Um, Beterem amut. So terem means before. Beterem, I mean not yet, ear before. Yeah. It's used quite a few times. Not with a bet so many times. Well, I guess no. Here it is used. Um, Beterem. Let's see how many times it's Beterem. So 35 times it's with a bet. Beterem. And 14 times it's without a bet. and 3 more times ubeterim. So yeah, that's, I mean, I guess that's the more common way of putting it. Before. Amut, I will die. Roots being mem, vav, tav. Okay, verse 5. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esav, his son, and Esav went to the field to hunt game and bring it. Um, Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esav. When Esav left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back. But Rebekah overheard when Isaac spoke to Esav, his son, and Esav went to the field to hunt game to bring it. Um, I mean, Rashi's doing it all according to the Genesis Rabbah, which is interesting. Why he feels he should do that, but that's for another place. Verivka shoma'at bedaber Yitzchak el Esav beno vayelech Esav hasadeh latzud tzayid lahavi. So very similar to the previous words that we had. So, and Rivka shoma'at, right? It's in the present tense, the participle. Written bechisaron. There's no vav after the shin, but she was hearing, right? Was listening. Bedaber. So in the speaking of, right? Daber is the more intensive way of speaking. Yitzchak, El with Aleph, Esav Beno, Esav his son. Interestingly, it's you know you're in trouble when your mom says um, to your dad, your son. Vayelech, right? Esav. So and went. The root is hey lamed chav. It's very common root to go, to walk. So went. The vav is flipping it in context. Esav, and this is a very similar language to what um, Isaac just used. Right. So hasadeh, the field. Right? Latsud. So this is the infinitive, the to hunt. Tzayid, things that are hunted. Lahavi, to bring it. Again, in the infinitive. Okay, verse 6. So Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, Indeed, I heard your father speaking to Esav, your brother, saying, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esav. And Rebekah said to Jacob, oh, sorry. But Rebekah, and Rebekah said to Jacob, her son, saying, Behold, I have heard your father speaking to Esav, your brother, saying, Verivka amra el Yaakov bena, le'emor hine shamati et avicha, medaber el Esav achicha le'emor. So, and Rivka amra, she said, right, feminine form. El with Aleph, Yaakov bena. So Yaakov, her son, and yeah, it's an aspirated hay with a dagesh there. So Yaakov, her son, bena. Le'emor saying. So Aleph Mem Resh is the less intensive form of to speak, and as normal, it's written bechisaron. Hine, so it's the interjection. The I usually translate as behold, indeed, yeah. Shamati, I heard, right? Shin mem ayin. Et avicha, your father. It's interesting the pronouns that she uses, the possessives. Medaber, so this is the present tense, the participle of daber, to speak, the more intensive form. El with aleph. Esav achicha, so Esav now is his brother, your brother. It's achicha. Le'emor, saying, verse 8, now there, uh, sorry, bring me game and make savory food, or tasty, that I may eat it and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die. Um, Bring me game and make me tasty foods, and I will eat, and I will bless you before the Lord before my death. And Rashi says, Lifnei Hashem, before God, means with God's approval. So, Havia li tzayid, va'aseh li matabim, ve'ochela, ve'avarecha, interesting, lifnei havaya, lifnei moti. So, very similar language to what we had before. It's being pretty repetitive. Havia, bring, and again, it has that unaspirated hey at the end. For me, tzayid, right? So this is the things that are hunted or game. Va'aseh li matamim, and make for me tasty things, right? Like we had before. Ve'ochela, and I will eat with the cohort of hay there. Ve'avarchecha, so this is interesting because the hay at the end kind of makes it strange, because the suffix "u" is usually just the chaf. Um, it is spelled a little differently. Conjunctive import, cohortative if contextual. So they seem to be saying that the hey at the end of this makes it cohortative. We're doing a lot of cohortatives today. We're actually paying more attention to them, I guess. I'm just wondering if why the cohortative hey would show up after the suffix. Yeah. Avarchecha. Lifnei havaya. So panim literally means face. Pone means to turn, or pina is a corner. Lifnei, it also means inside. So lifnei can mean in front of, before. Yeah, I think those are the two likely ones. Lifnei havaya, and this, the tetragrammaton. Lifnei moti, before I die. So again, the alliteration, poetic text. Verse 8. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice according to what I command you. Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, to what I am commanding you. Now, I'll just put this in here. I have heard a lot of Christian interpretations that um, Jacob was a trickster character, that the word Jacob, the name Jacob, talks about um, trickery and deception, and we've actually been talking about it on the PVK Discord server as well. And honestly, I don't. That's not the Jewish interpretation of what's going on here, and the deception. I mean, yes, there is deception being involved here, but it's not because Jacob is a deceiver. In fact, it's the opposite, right? It says Titeni emet Yaakov leYaakov, right? That you will give truth to Jacob. So there's this Christian idea that while he was Jacob, it he was a trickster, and then when he became Israel, he no longer, he had changed in some way. Whereas the Jewish way of looking at it is more Jacob is how he is at night in the darkness, and Israel is when he in the day he can shine. And the the root Yaakov isn't deception, but to turn over physically, to supplant, to uproot, to turn over, right? And it's because of that that um, Jacob, whose essence is actually truth, is being tested. So just like Abraham, whose essence was kindness, was tested in things which were the opposite of that, like the binding of Isaac, right? Um, where he was being tested against his nature. Similarly, Isaac, who's known as being, the lawful, the strict, the uh, what we would say is gevurah, right? The he is tested in an opposite manner, right? Because he has to pass over his eldest son for the youngest son, right? That's his test. And Jacob, whose essence is the truth, is tested by having to deal with Lavan, having to deal with this. He is tested um, by deception and with deception. Not that he was a trickster or deceiver, but in fact the opposite, that he uh, was a person of truth who was tested in this manner by having to deal with deception, having to deal with situations which called for deception, which was against his nature. Right? Okay. Um, where were we? Va'ata beni shama bekoli la'asher ani metzaveh it otach. Interesting. So, ata again means therefore, right? Means now. So, et means moment, ata is now. Beni, my son. So now it's her son. Shema bekoli. Um, so listen to my voice. This is the command form of uh, listen, right? And to listen to the voice means to obey. It's a phrase in Hebrew that means it's used many times. Um, and I mean, koli is written with chaser vav here. Yeah, it's a little strange. Um, if you want to darshan that, the asher is kind of interesting. Um, la asher, to that, yeah, to that, yeah. I guess, yeah. According to what la asher, uh, yeah. I guess it's not so. strange because yeah, it's kind of it's starting a new phrase. Um, I would put a comma between Koli and Lasher, I guess. And obviously, I mean, I think that's what the cancellation is saying. Don't quote me. I do not read cancellations very well, but it seems to be that what's going on. Um, Ani is I, the considered less formal way of saying it. Mitzaveh. So this is the present tense, the participle of mitzvah, of a oftentimes translated as commandment. There is a it implies a connection. Otach is actually the feminine form of this, but at the end of a sentence, the cancellations force it into this form, which you can darshan however you feel you should darshan that. Most people don't. Okay, first line. Go now to the flock and bring me from there two choice kids of the goats, and I will make savory food from them for your father, such as he loves. Um, so again, I want to emphasize the difference between the brothers here. Esav is the hunter; he's the one who goes and gets game, and Jacob is Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. He lives in tents. He's a simple man. Um, you know, he doesn't go hunting. So this difference between them is um, also in how they live and the food that they make, right? And I'm sure people darshan this a lot. Go out to the flock and bring me two choice young goats so I can prepare some tasty food for your father just the way he likes it. Go now to the flock and take for me from their two choice kids, and I will make them tasty foods for your father as he likes. Um, and Rashi's bringing the midrash here. But I'm not going to do that. Lech na el hatzon vekach li misham shnei gedaye izim tovim ve'eseh otam mat'amim la'avicha ka'asher ahev. So lech is the command form of holech, to go or to walk. Na, um, either please or now, however you want to translate that. El with aleph. Hatzon, to the flock. Yeah, um, yeah, flock. I guess that's what you would say. Um, I think son implies small animals as opposed to large animals, if I remember correctly. So sheep and goats and stuff like that. Yeah, small cattle. It's a flock of small animals. Specifically. Um, Vekach lakachat, to take. Uh, I don't like the translation bring. This is the command form. Kach, take. Um, Li, for me. So take for me, for her specifically. Misham, from there. Shnei gedaye izim. So Shnaim means two, and this is in the construct form with. So Gedi is a kid, is a young goat. Uh, from Gada, I did not know there was such a thing as gada. It's used 4 times in the Bible. Bank of a river. Interesting. Aramaic guda is a wall. Huh. Did not know that. Um, Gedi. I mean, the word Gedi is used a lot. I think in the Bible, 16 times. Not so many times. So Gedi Izim. So the young kid of Izim of goats. Um, yeah, not sure why specifically. I mean, it's kind of double, but it's fine. Tovim, I would have expected that Vav to be there. It's written Bechisaron, but literally good. Um, choice, I guess. I mean, it's an adjective. Sometimes it's even translated as beautiful, um, pleasant, agreeable. Literally, it means good. And when I mean, the um, tree of good and evil, right? That's of the knowledge of it's that same root for good there. Ve'ese otam, and I will make them, right? The two uh, kids, I will make them. Matamim, again, tasties. La'avicha, for your father. Ka'asher ahev, like he loved. Um, yeah, it's the perfect form. Again, very similar to previous verses. Then you shall take it to your father, that he may eat it, and that he may bless you before his death. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies. And you shall bring them to your father, that he may eat, in order that he bless you before his death. Veheveta la'avicha va'achal ba'avur asher yevarechecha lifnei moto. We've had all of these words before. Heveta, uh, it's the hefil, right? Causative of to bring, of to come. So bring, um, for your father, your father. Va'achal, and he shall eat. Again, this is, I mean, the vav is kind of what makes it shall or may. Right? Ba'avur, right? And I don't remember if the previous ba'avur was also, but because we had ba'avur just a few verses ago, and I don't remember if that one was also written. Um, Bechisaron or not. It doesn't matter, but for some reason, I thought that the other one wasn't eh, written Bechisaron. Yeah, so this one's written Ben Milui in verse 4. I mean, whether you want to darshan that, that's up to you. It's the type of stuff I pay attention to. So verse 10, it's written Bechisaron. Asher Yevarechecha, so that Ba'avur Asher, I mean, just like in verse 4, it said it was Ba'avur Asher, I believe. Oh, it wasn't. But, I mean, pretty similar. Yivarechecha, so that he may, ba'avur asher. Yivarechecha, bless you. Lifnei moto, before his death. Nothing else to point out there. Verse 11. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Look, Esav my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man." Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "But my brother Esav is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin." And Jacob said to his mother, "Behold, my brother Esav is a hairy man, whereas I am a smooth man." Vayomer Yaakov el Rivka imo, hen Esav achi ish Sa'ir, va'anochi ish Chalak. Interesting. I was not expecting that word Chalak there. Okay, so, and he said, Jacob, El with Aleph, Rivka, his mother, right? Hen. So this is an interjection. Oftentimes I will translate it as yes, or I guess look, like hine. Um, yeah, I guess, yeah, hen, Esav, look, Esav. But oftentimes hen, as opposed to hine, seems to me to be uh, an affirmation, yes. Okay. Esav achi, so Esav, my brother. Ish sa'ar, so the is implied there, right? A man of hair. They're not they're saying that sa'ar is sa'ir. Sorry. Oh, sa'ir. They're saying is an adjective. Yeah. Um, okay. Yeah. Sa'ar is hair. Sa'ir is adjective meaning hairy. Yeah. Devil, goat, hairy, kid, rough, satyr. Interesting. Um, didn't know. I mean, devil. Where's it translated as devil? Ish Sa'ir. Don't know. Um, so he's a hairy man, Ish Sa'ir. Va'anochi. This is the more um formal way of saying I, and we do relate it to the Ten Commandments, right? Anochi, when God speaks. Ish Halak. So he's Ish Sa'ir, and I'm Ish Halak. And Het Lamed Kuf means smooth, is right. A chelek is a piece or a portion. And the reason I was a little bit surprised at that is because I remember that in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the word halak is actually used as kind of meaning lies. Dover halakot, a person who has a forked tongue, a tongue of pieces. Sorry. Um, I don't know why. Yeah, but it says. I mean, halak is usually what we use to talk about, for example, a smooth lung for kosher meat, right? Glat, halak. Um, did Rashi say it doesn't talk about halak? The sa'ir is less um, strange to me than the halak, and Rashi only talks about the sa'ir. Okay, verse 12. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be a deceiver to him, and I shall bring a curse on myself and not a blessing. What if my father touches me, I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing. Perhaps my father will touch me, and I will appear to him as a deceiver, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. Ulai yemusheni avi v'hayiti be'enav kimtatea. Interesting. Veheveti alai klala velo beracha. So ulai is perhaps, maybe. That's just what it means. Yemusheni. So this is written by Chisaron, which is a little bit strange. So I think the root is mem vav. It might be mem shin shin. Yeah, mem shin shin. Yeah, that is. Um, because it's used a lot in, especially in modern Hebrew. It's used in the hitpal. Hell. Guess maybe not here. Well, is it mitmashmesh? No, I might have that wrong. But yeah, it's to feel, to grope. Meshash, mush. See also yamash and mush. Yeah, palpel, mashmesh. But I don't see memashesh, memashe, vaimashesh. Not sure why I thought it's used in the palpel, um, lemashmesh. But it it is saying palpel, see also yamush. I guess maybe it's in Aramaic that it's used that way. Yeah, might be that. Anyway, to yamusheni, right? Shall feel me, shall grope me, touch me. Avi, my father. V'haiti, and I shall be, right? This is to be. It's in Ben Milui, a little bit more than I expected. Ben Milui, but v'haiti, and I may be, I shall be. Be'enav, in his eyes, so to him, be'enav. Kemitatea, so this is palpel, and the root is tough ayin ayin, to mock. It's only used twice. The other time is in Chronicles 36, Second Chronicles 36:16. Um, unavailable stammer. Oh, that no, image unavailable stammer, and also shake violently, onomatopoeic. I guess in Chronicles it's used when they're mocking. Let's see what's Second Chronicles 36. Yeah. Bozim devarav umatateim beneviav. Um, yeah, I mean, it's always hard with words that are only used a few times in the Bible. Um, and it's not like the two roots, tough ayin, really say much. Like, I can't think of other words. Maybe, well, there is tough of ayin, I think it is. Tough No, I must have made that up. Let me see. What about tough iron? Okay, wander. Tough iron hey is to wander, to lead astray. Lahat ot. So metatea. Yeah, I wouldn't say mocking. I would, if anything, I would say um, mislead. Yeah, personally, I like mislead. It's in the participle, it's in the present. So veheveta, veheveti, sorry. So again, this is the causative of to come, so bring. I will bring, or I shall bring. Alai, preposition ayin, klala velo bracha. And these two words are um, used a lot in the Bible as uh, antonyms, right? As contrasts. So curse instead of a blessing. Okay, verse 13. But his mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go get them for me." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me." And his mother said to him, "On me is your curse, my son. Only hearken to my voice and go take them for me." Vatomer lo imo alai klalatcha hilal- hil- hilatcha hilalatcha. I think that's a um, shvana. I think doesn't Beni, my son, ach shama bekoli velech kachli. Um, so, and she said to him, Imo, his mom, his mother, alai, with the ayin, kil lelatcha. So the klala, right, which is yours, the curse which is yours, your curse. And it doesn't really mean, I wouldn't translate it to mean that um, that I will be cursed on your behalf, more that I am responsible here, right? I'll take care of it. Not that she's going to be cursed if he was cursed, but that um, she she knows what she's doing, right? It's for me. This is something for me to deal with. My son. Ach, and ach is a lashon miut. It limits, right? So only, right? Just. Shema is again had command form. Bekoli, to my voice, again same thing, without above. Velech, so go, again command form. Kach, we've had li for me. So um, get them, bring them for me. 14. And he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory or tasty food, such as his father loved. So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. Again, this is the repetition and alliteration is in the Hebrew is poetic. Um, So he went and he took, and he brought them to his mother, and his mother made tasty foods as his father liked. Vayelech vayikach vayaveh leimo Vetas imo mat amim kaasher ahev aviv. So we've had all of these words. And it is a little, I mean, they're all very short words, but um, we've had all these words. They're all in command form. Command form tends to be um, shorter, right? And it doesn't say, like, yeah, this is kind of, I mean, it is kind of abrupt and staccato, but so he went, he took, it doesn't say what he took. Vayave, and he brought, it doesn't say what he brought. Le'imo, to his mother. Vetas, and she made. Um, yeah, Vetas. For some, I mean, the hay does abscond, but I didn't really expect um, in the imperfect for the hay um, to abscond. Yeah, the hay. I mean, taase. The hay is absconding, which it happens. Emo, his mother. Matamim, again, savory foods. Kasher ahev, like Aviv, his father, or loved his father. Had all those words before. 15. Um, then Rebecca took the choice clothes of her elder son Esav, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And there's all kinds of midrashim about this. Then Rebecca took the best clothes of Esav, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on her younger son Jacob. And Rebecca took the costly garments of Esav, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and she dressed Jacob, her younger son. Um, and Rashi. So Targum Onkelos apparently uses Dahyata, which um, clean, yeah. Hamudot, or beloved, costly. Um, and then there's the Genesis Rabbah, which says that, yeah. So Lo Tachmod is um, is the verse it is from the Ten Commandments. Do not covet. It's covet. Which were in her house, but he had many wives. Yet he entrusted it to his mother. Why? Because he knew what they like. Okay. Uh, yeah, that's from the Midrash. ותיקח רבקה את בגדי עשיו בנה הגדול החמודות אשר איתה בבית, ותלבש את יעקב בנה הקטן. So Vatikach, she took, right, Rivka, it's a big day. So Beged is cloth, right? Begadim are clothes. So Big Day Esav are the clothes, Esav's clothes. Right? Big Day Esav. Benah, her son. So now he's her son. Hagadol, so the elder, the bigger, um, and there's it's written Bechisaron. Gadol. Hachamudot, written both with both Hisaron. There's no vowels in it, which is a little strange. So again, lachmod, right? Het mem daled is to covet. Um, so how exactly desire or delight, regret. Um, yeah, I mean, you can use your concordance there. What it reminds me of is the Ten Commandments. Lo tachmod, do not covet. Um, I would probably translate this his most coveted clothes. That's how I would translate it with the word covet, so that people would recognize the relationship. Asher ita. So this is not the direct object marker. This is the preposition. Um, ita is the preposition with her. Ota would be. It also wouldn't be an aspirated hey with a dagesh. Ota would be the direct object. Bait. So the article there is in the vocalization in the house. So yeah, vetalabesh. So lamed bet shin is to dress. So vetalab, and she dressed. Put them on. I would just use dressed, and they're saying it's in the hefil, which sounds right. The talbesh, talbesh, not talbish. Lamed bet shin. Uh, talbesh, tilbosh. Maybe the vav is kind of changing it. Mm, not sure what to tell you. Mm. Et Yaakov, right? Benah, her son. Ha Katan, the so the small or younger. Right? Katan and Gadol are again opposed a lot in the Bible and in Hebrew in general. Okay, 16. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with the goat skins. And the hides of the kids she put on his hands and on the smoothness of his neck. Ve'et orot gedaye ha'izim hilvisha bisha al yadav ve'al chalkat tevarav. Interesting. So, or is leather, right? Skin, right? Um, written without any vowels, which is very strange. Orot. Gedaye ha'izim, right? So this is one long construct chain. Um, Skins or leathers of the kids of the goats. And as normal, the article only shows up in the last term in a construct chain. Hilbisha, right? So this is more normal feel of levush. Hilbisha. Um, past tense. Mm, oh, I didn't do. That's why. Yeah. So in the hefil, previous sentence, hefil, talbish, talbesh. Hmm. I'm guessing it's the cancellations which changed it, and that's why it's Talbesh and not Talbish. Okay. Um, Hilbisha makes a lot more sense. Um, it's in the Hefil clearly with the Yod. It's written Bimilui, as is Ezim, as is Gedaye. So that Orot Al Yadav, so preposition with ayin. Yadav, his hands. Baal, again, ayin. Chalkat Tzavarav. So, uh, like we had Chalak, right? So Chalkat is it's the feminine form of Chalak, and it's in the construct chain with Tzavar, which is neck. Uh, how many times is it used in the Bible? 41 times. So, yeah, neck. Oh, from Sur. Yeah, that makes sense. To confine. Yeah. Um, although it has an Aleph there. The the two letter root Tzaddik Resh um, for things which are narrow is used a lot. And here, the Aleph is pretty much always there. I don't know where exactly it came from, though. Yeah, it looks like it's always there, written with an Aleph. Okay. Um. So his neck, literally his necks, Savarav. Interesting. Not sure why that's in the plural. Does Rashi say anything? No. Um. Yeah, I don't think Savar is ever like shoulders or anything like that. Why is it in the plural? I don't see the others being in. Benjamin, Genesis 45:14. It's in the plural. Savare, Binyamin. Um, again, in 45:14, it's used twice. 46. Um, 29. Yeah. No, that's in Joshua. Well, that's the kings. That's in the plural. That makes sense. Right hand makes sense. Um, Savarei Shalal. Savarei Gamlehem. So the necks of their um, sometimes it's the singular and sometimes it's in the plural, even by a single person. So um, mostly it's in the singular. Certainly by when it's with singular. Yeah. Okay. Next verse 17. Then she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. Then she handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. And she gave the tasty foods and the bread that she had made into the hands of Jacob her son. ותיתן את המטעמים ואת הלחם אשר עשת ביד יעקב בנה. So to put or to set, usually to give, right? The tasties and the bread. I don't know where bread suddenly came from, but the bread which she had made, beyad, in the hand. Interesting why it's specifically in the hand of Jacob, her son. Again, now he's her son again. Um, So he went to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," he answered. "Who is it?" And he came to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" So I'm not sure. Oh, well, so the NIV will sometimes move things from son, who is it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Vayavo el aviv vayomer hineni mi ata beni. Interesting. Okay. So vayavo, he came. El with Aleph, Aviv, his father. Vayomer, he said, Avi, my father. Vayomer, hineni. So again, hineni, here I am, behold me. Right? Shows up a lot. Mi ata, who are you? So the pronoun is being used as the um, is being used as a stand-in for the present tense of the verb to be. Mi ata, who are you? Beni, my son. That's a interesting question to ask. Who are you, my son? Well, you know his your son, so okay. 19. Jacob said to his father, "I am Esav, your firstborn. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit, and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me." Jacob said to his father, "I am Esav, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." And Jacob said to his father, "I am Esav, your firstborn. Um, I have done as you have spoken to me. Please rise, sit down, and eat of my game, so that your soul will bless me." And Rashi is bringing midrashim there. Well, Shava, sit. Hebrew, an expression of sitting around the table. Therefore, it is rendered by uncle as istachar, which apparently means to eat. Or, I think, yeah. Okay. Vayomer Yaakov el Aviv, Anochi Esav Bechorecha, Asiti Kaasher Diberta, El Elai Kum Na Shava al Va'achla Mitzidi, Ba'avur Tevarchani Nafshecha. Okay. So, Yaakov said, it's less intensive saying, Aleph, preposition Aleph, Aviv, his father, Anochi, which again is the more formal I, Esav, and the pronoun is being used as the verb to be. So Anochi, I am Esav. Bechorecha, so Bechor is a firstborn. Don't confuse Bet Chaf Resh, firstborn, with Bet Het Resh, which is to choose. And it's written Bechisaron. Asiti, written Bemilui, which is normal. Bemilui. I have made, I have done, Asiti. Kasher dibarta, like you spoke. This is the more intensive speaking. Elai. Um, so preposition with Aleph. Kum na. So this is to get up or to establish. Um, it's in the command form. Na, please, or now. Um, Shva. So the reason Rashi um, asked about this is because the hey is kind of strange there. Shva. But sit, right? Lashevet. No, Yud Shin Bet. Again, Shin Bet is a one of these two-letter roots. So Va'achla and eat. Again, that hey at the end is kind of strange here. But eat. Mitzedi, from what I have hunted, my side, my game. Ba'avur, this time b'milui again. Tavarachani, so will bless me, and it's in the feminine because nefesh is in the feminine. Nafshecha, your nefesh, your lowest form of the soul. 20. But Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God brought it to me." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God gave me success," he replied. And Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God prepared it before me." Vayomer Yitzchak el beno, ma ze miharta limtzo beni. Vayomer ki hikra. Hashem. So Havaya, this tetragram. Elokecha, your God, lefanai, before me. Interesting. Okay. So Vayomer Yitzchak, he said, El with Aleph, Beno, his son. Maze. What is this? How is this? What is this? Maze. Miharta. So maher is to hurry. Mem he resh. You have so quickly. You have miharta limtzo. You to find. You were quick to find. Miharta limtzo. This is the infinitive of to find. Mem tzaddik aleph. Beni, my son. Vayomer, and he said, he, because, hikra. So kore means to happen. So a mikra is a happenstance. So this is the hefil of kufresh hey, to encounter, meet, befall. So hikra, the causative. So God caused it, right, to happen. Havaya, tetragrammaton, Elokecha, your God. And the possessives are interesting here. Lefanai, in front of me, before me, however you want to do the lefanai there. Okay. 21. Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esav or not." 21. And then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come nearer so that I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esav or not." And Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come closer so that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esav or not." And Rashi brings a midrash. Vayomer Yitzchak el Yaakov, Gesha na ve'amushcha beni ha'ata ze beni Esav imlo. So Yitzchak said, El with Aleph, Yaakov, Gesha. So Gush is to approach. Nagash, sorry. Nun Gimel Shin is to approach. Like Vayigash, yeah, came near. Yeah, to approach. It's used many times in the Bible. You can use your concordance if you like, 125 times. in modern Hebrew, it like a tray is called a magash, I believe. Um, yeah, the hey there is kind of strange, especially in command form, but it is what it is. Na, please, or now. The amushecha, right? I will touch you, like we talked about mashash before, right? To touch, to feel. Beni, my son. Ha'ata. So the article, before a word can turn it into a question. So, um, are you, right? So the um, article, I mean, the pronoun is being used as the verb to be. Ze, ha'ata ze beni. Interesting. Really, my son? Are you? Ha'ata ze, is that you, my son? Hmm. Ha'ata ze. Again, pronouns used as the verb to be, um, when it's not there. If this is my son, if this is that you are my son, Esav, im lo. Im literally means if. I guess you can use it as an or, um, if not, or not. Okay, 22. So Jacob went near to Isaac, his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esav. And this is one of the luckiest verses in the Torah. It is darshan over and over. Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, Hakol kol Yaakov, Yadayim Yadei Esav. But the hands are the hands of Esav. And the reason why I know the Hebrew by heart is because I think there's even songs about it. So Jacob drew near to Isaac his father, and he felt him. And he said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And there's a Rashi there. Okay. Vayigash Yaakov el Yitzchak aviv, vayamoshehu, vayomer hakol kol Yaakov, v'hayadayim yedei Esav. So approached, went near, right? Yagash, um, Yaakov, El with Aleph, Yitzchak, Aviv, his father, Veyamushehu, and and touched him, felt him. Right? Vayomer, and he said, Hakol kol Yaakov, the voice of Yaakov. So the is implied, right? And the first kol is without a vav, and the second one is with a vav. But so kol Yaakov, um, it's a construct, right? The voice of Jacob, and I think there's like infinite numbers of newspapers and stuff called kol Yaakov, the voice of Jacob. V'hayadayim yedei Esav, and the hands are the hands of Esav, and you can go look up all those drushes. And he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esav's hands, so he blessed him. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esav, so he proceeded to bless him. Um, and he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like the hands of his brother Esav, and he blessed him. Velo hikiro, ki hayu yadav ki yedei Esav achiv seirot veyivarechehu. So velo and not hikiro, did not recognize him, right? Lahakir is it's in the causative. I'm not sure if it's ever used in the simple. Oh, nun kafra hey resh, not hey kafra, to recognize or acknowledge. Um. Oh well, I guess nahar does lo nikro and then nifal lo nikru are not recognized. Shrewd or cunning in Arabic. Yeah, I was thinking of something else with Nohri. That's with a chaf. Yeah, it seems to be mostly in the Hefil. Regard, observe, recognize, distinguish. Verb denominative, act or treat as foreign. So Nahar is actually, yeah, it is. Oh, it's with a chaf. Um, it's so when it's in the middle of the verb, it's even harder. Um, yeah, to alienate, to be foreign, disguise, misconstrue. Um, mm, yeah, you can use your concordance here. Um, okay, um, Lo Hikiro did not recognize him. Ki Hayu um, Yadav Ki Yadei Esav, because his hands and the were is implied. Well, Hayu no Ki Hayu Yadav Ki Yadei Esav, like there is a like there. Not that they were. There is a prepositional chaf there. Esav Achiv, his father. Seirot. I would have expected a yud there and above there. They're neither there, but again, this is the adjective seir to hairy. Veyivarchehu, and he blessed him. Yeah. Okay. 24. Then he said, "Are you really my son Esav?" And he said, "I am." Um. After the blessing, he asked him, "Are you really my son Esav?" He asked. "I am," he replied. And he said, "Are you indeed my son Esav?" And he said, "I am." Um, and Rashi's bringing from the from Numbers Rabbah that it's um, he didn't say "I am Esav," he just said "I am." Vayomer ata ze beni Esav. Vayomer ani. So said to him, "Ata ze beni." Are you? So the ze, the pronoun, is being used as a stand-in for the verb to be. Are you um, my son Esav? Vayomer ani. And he said, "I," or "I am," because you can imply that, but he didn't say what he is. Yeah, and ani here it's still less formal. 25. 25? 25. Okay. He said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's game, so that my soul may bless you." So he brought it near to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then he said, "My son, bring me some of your game, so that I may uh, give you my blessing." Jacob, so this is after the blessing. No, thank you. Jacob brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought some wine, and he drank. Um, yeah, he blessed him already in 23. Oh, it is what it is. 25. And he said, "Serve it to me, that I may eat of the game of my son, so that my soul will bless you." And he served him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Vayomer Hagisha li ochla mitseid beni lama'an tevarchecha nafshi vayigash lo vayochal vayave lo yain vayesh. Okay, so Vayomer, he said Hagisha. So this is the Hefil, bring it near, serve, right? Hagisha, and there should have been a yud there, but it's not there. Li, so serve it to me, bring it near me. Ve'ochla, and I will eat. Mitzeid beni, from what was hunted by my son. Lama'an, so that Tevarchecha will bless you. Nafshi, my voice, my soul, which is feminine. That's why it's Tevarchecha. Vayagesh, so again, he served or brought near. Lo, but vayochal, and he ate. Vayavelo yain. So again, this is the causative of to come is bring. Um, brought him yain, wine, vayesht, and he ate. I mean, he drank. Sorry, it's from shoteh, to drink. Shtia, shin taf hey. Yeah, brought him wine and he drank. 26. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near now and kiss me, my son." Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." And his father Isaac said to him, "Please come closer and kiss me, my son." Vayomer alav Yitzchak aviv Geshana ushka li beni. So Vayomer, he said to him, Elav, Aleph, Yitzchak aviv, his father, Gesha. So it's command form, kind of strange with the hey at the end, but Gesha na, either now or please, right? It's the interjection. Ushka, again, the hey is kind of strange there, but neshek means to kiss. Nun shin kuf. All right, yeah, ushka. Through the I. So they're saying that there's a two-letter root, shin kuf. Interesting. Not sure why. I mean, 35 times. Not sure why they feel like they need to relate it to chazak and chashak. Chashak makes more sense than chazak. That means kiss. Kiss Lee. Um, yeah, kiss me. Benny, my son. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, 27. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his clothing, and blessed him, and said, "Surely the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which the Lord has blessed." So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him, and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed." And he came closer and he kissed him, and he smelled the fragrance of his garments, and he blessed him, and he said, "Behold, the fragrance of my son is like the fragrance of a field which the Lord has blessed." And you can read the Rashis if you like. Vayigash vayishak lo vayarach et reach begadav vayivarchehu vayomer re'eh reach beni kereach sadeh asher beracho havaya. So vayigash, right, came close. Vayashak, and he kissed, right? Lo, him. Veyarach, so reach, resh, yud, het. Sorry, what happened there? Reach. well, ruach is, yeah. So ruach is like wind and well, I mean these are very related things. Um, but reach as opposed to ruach is a smell, and I'm not sure why. I mean, with the yud and the vav, there are well riach to perceive odor. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're putting this with ruach as opposed to reach with yud. Vayarach. Oh, so it's not there, and in the hefil, I guess vayarach. Yeah, don't know what to tell you. Um, kind of want to say, well, it isn't in the hefil then, because let's say you are saying it's resh yud het in the pal. Um, Yariach. Rach. In the past tense. Rach. This is Veyara, so it's in the imperfect. Yariach. Maybe that's why they would have expected the yud to show up there. Um, let's say it's ruach and it's in the hefil. Um, it has a yud there too as well, even with ruach. Let's put it in the pal. Yaruach have a vav there. Hmm. Try the PL maybe. Yaruach. Yeah, still has that vav showing up. I guess that's kind of the difficulty. There's that. I mean, there's also the thing of two letter roots, right? Um. Okay. Et reach, the smell, right? See, he smelled the smell, right? Begadav, of his clothes, right? Begadim, we spoke about. Veivarchehu, and he blessed him. Vayomer, and he said, Re'eh, that's in the command form. Reach beni kereach sadeh. So the smell, the odor of my son, is implied. Ke, like, right? Reach sadeh, like the odor of a field, of fields. Yeah. Kind of would have expected Hasadeh. But Asher Baracho, well, Sadeh Asher. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be Hasadeh. It would be Sadeh. Kireach Sadeh Asher Baracho, that God blessed it. Um, that's the tetragrammaton. Okay, 28. Therefore, may God give you of the dew of heaven, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, and an abundance of grain and new wine. And may the Lord give you of the dew of the heavens and of the fatness of the earth, and an abundance of grain and wine. And Rashi brings Midrashim. I'm not sure why this short Rashi here becomes this long Rashi. There are various Girsot. This is found in an old and correct edition of Rashi. Yeah. There are there are multiple versions of Rashi. Okay, although it's been pretty standardized by now. Vayiten lecha Elokim mital hashamayim umishmane haaretz v'rov dagan v'tirosh. And this is again one of the luckier verses in the Bible. Will give, right? It also means set, but here means give. So Ha Elokim, the gods, literally the powers, right? Um, and because it has the article there, kind of, I almost don't want to translate it as God. I want to translate it as divinity. Um, I mean, literally, it's the gods should. Well, it is in the singular, so I guess yeah. Um, Mital from the tal. Tal is dew. Very common name in modern Hebrew. Ha Shamayim, right? It's in the construct form with heaven. Ha Shamayim. The article goes on the last chain in the thing. Ushmane haaretz. So shemen is usually translated as oil. Shin memnon. Shmane haaretz, the fatness of the land, the oils of the land. Shuman, I mean, can be uh, lard. So mishmane, the the oil fatness of the land is right. Yeah. Verov dagan. So rov, lots of. There's it's written bechisaron, but rov dagan. Dagan is grain. Pretty simple stuff. Although I guess some people would say that that is related to. Um, there's a. Let me put it this way: if you wanted to make some sort of argument that this particular verse is some from like the textual criticism people would likely say that this is an old verse which was incorporated into the story. Obviously, I don't believe in uh, textual criticism myself, but I can see where they would get that in this verse. Verov dagan, so uh, plenty of grain, much grain. Vet tirosh. Um, and tirosh is a strange word. I mean, you can look it up in the concordance. Um, it is written bechisaron. There's no vav there. There is a yud. It's 38 times. I think it's sometimes kind of like an orchard, fresh or new wine from Yarash. I guess maybe. I never considered that Tirosh might come from Yarash. Um, yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. That it would come from Yarash, but that's what NAS Exhaustive Concordance is saying. That does not make sense to me. Yeah, and that's Tirosh. Okay. Um, actually, this whole blessing gets gets quoted a lot. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you. May nations serve you, and people bow down to you. Be lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. Um, Nations shall serve you, and kingdoms shall bow down to you. You shall be a master over your brothers, and your mother's sons shall bow down to you. Those who curse you shall be cursed, and those who bless you shall be blessed. And there are midrashim which Ya'abducha amim v'yishtachavu lecha le'umim. Have have yeah have gvir la'achecha v'yishtachavu lecha b'nei imecha orecha arur u'mevarchecha baruch. So Ya'abducha amim. So will serve you. Literally. Hey, how you doing, Edwin? The root is servant or slave, ein bet daled. So Ya'av ducha amim. So nations, means a nation. So amim. Ve'yishtachavu, again we have a difference between the Katav and the Kri here. And we've talked about what I think is the root is Shin Chaf Vav in the Hitpael. Apparently, there are people who believe that it's a specific, it's its own little, what they call Hishtafel, stem, Hishtafel, which is, they say only applies to one root. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't think so. Does it say almost exclusively? It says used almost exclusively. So where is it used in a different one? They don't give I mean, if there is a hishtafel, which is used somewhere else, then let's see, stem hishtafel example. This one says it's the only verb that occurs in the stem. So I don't know what they mean, almost. Or all from the verb. Yeah. I mean, apparently these people believe it. I don't really understand why. They believe that there is a hishtafel stem. Maybe I'll take a look some other time as well. Well, this guy apparently wrote a dissertation, but it doesn't. It's not telling me. Yeah. So it's saying in the Bible it's only for that stem. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why they decided that it's a stem itself. But okay. Yishtachavu lecha, right, and shall bow down to you. Yishtachavu le'umim. So le'um is a nation. Yeah, le'om. Sorry. Used quite a few times. 36. Okay. Heve. So this is an interesting form of to fall. No. It's so hove is so you'll notice I call the tetragrammaton Shem Havaya, right? It is related to Haya, to be, but it seems to be slightly different. So you shall be. Well, I guess this is in the imperative command form. Hey, have, right? You shall be as, maybe. So gavir. So the root means strength. Gibor means champion. Um, Giveret is translates as mistress a lot. There are a lot of Christians will claim that the Queen Mother had a specific role, Giveret, and they say that this is something that was known. Not sure. Master is a good way of translating it. Givir. Um, in modern day, a givir is usually what you call somebody who's rich and gives a lot of money to things, a philanthropy kind of thing. But yeah, givirim. La'achecha. So you shall be a master, I guess. Yeah. For you shall be stronger than your brothers, maybe. Um, how did they translate it? You shall be a master over your brethren. See, it's not really. I mean, yeah, I guess Gavir is kind of like a master, including in this in the ownership sense to it. Um, V'yishtachavu lecha. So this time it's so the here the difference between the kativ and the kri is that I guess they expected it to have two vavs and it only has one. Not sure why that suddenly makes it a difference between kativ and kri. Let's see what. Yeah, they have it as a difference between kativ and kri as well. Hmm. Is that vav there? That well, I guess I mean it would be veishtachu as opposed to veishtachavu. Um, yeah, okay. So I guess you would expect what, but I mean, how many times do you see a double vav in the Hebrew? I'm not sure I've ever really seen a double vav in the Hebrew. Veishtachaveh, veishtachu, veishtachu, veishtachavu. Yeah, so here it's oh, I guess in Genesis 27:29. No, this is where we are. Well, oh, so this one I guess does have a in the same verse. Yeah, I guess it's in so it does have a double vav. This may be the only double vav I know of in in the scroll. I'm almost tempted to look up a Tikkun Korim. Um, sure, why not? Let's look up a Tikkun Korim. So, of Genesis 27. So a Tikkun Korim is what people use when they're when they are preparing to read from the scroll because it shows you exactly what the scroll looks like. $50 for a Tikkun Korim. No, thank you. Let's look at the images. Uh, no. Tikkun Korim. That's only one page though. Apparently. 56. Uh, typical edition of old style Tikkun Korim. So yeah, Tikkun Korim is um, what people use to. So you know what, Chabad of Beverly Hills, I know they their website has tikkun korim there. Um, at least they used to. Beverly Hills Torah reading. There we go. Sheet 27 is Toldot. כל אחיו נפל, ואלה תולדות יצחק בן אברהם הוליד. באר אחרת ויריבו. ותיקח רבקה, there we go, הגדול, הקטן. So the right side has the how you read it, and the left side has the actual how the scroll looks. So this is on the left side here. This is if you were looking inside of a Torah scroll, you would see here that this is what's called a setumah, which is a closed break. So you see the margin is still closed, but there's a break in the middle there. And then we'll see if there's well, I don't see an open break. Let's see if I can find the Yishtachavu. So we were on verse 29. Yavdicha amim v'yishtachavu lecha leomim hevi gevir. Right? So this Yishtachu, there's only one vav. And here Yishtachavu, there's two vavs inside the scroll. So this is the actual scroll you're seeing here. Let me see if I can find you an open break. That's another closed break. And no breaks. Again, no breaks. And again, no breaks. No breaks. Nope. Okay. No, I closed breaks again. There must be an open break around here somewhere. There's an open break. Okay. So you see that the break goes all the way to the margin. Right? Again, an open break. The break goes all the way to the margin. Page. So here is a page with both an open break, right? So you can see if you follow the margins, you can see where the open breaks are, but you have to see. So the closed breaks, the margins are still closed, right? Okay. So hopefully that was useful to you. Okay. Where were we? So וישתחוו לך בני imecha, right? The sons of your mother, which is interesting. I mean, especially considering he only has one son. But orecha, so aleph resh resh is another way of talking about curses. You can use your so usually, I mean, arur, kalal, you can look in your concordance to see the various ways of talking about curses. I don't know that I know that there's a real big difference between arur and kalal. Trying to think if there's any sort of difference. Bitterly curse, they're saying, to execrate, as opposed to what verse were we on that it said klala? Where were we? So tomorrow, ben hakaton, Um, so klala in verse 12. So in verse 12, klala from kalal. Again, curse, imprecation, vilification. And it's not really saying why it's different than arur. Let's look at kalal. To be slight, swift. Oh, like call. Oh, I guess. Despise. Oh, call. Right. Call means light or small, scanty. Okay, I guess kalal would have an implication there of um lightness as opposed to arur. Not sure where what arur would be. Okay, let's keep on going. But it's another way. So orecha arur, and these are bemilui, which is a little strange. Orecha, um, those who curse you are cursed. Um, Umevarchecha baruch, and those that bless you are blessed. Um, and these are in the participles, which is a little bit interesting. They're in the present tense. Um, okay, verse 30. Now it happened as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esav his brother came in from his hunting. After Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esav came in from the hunting. 30. And it came to pass when Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and it came to pass Jacob had just left his father's Isaac's presence, that his brother Esav came from his hunt. Vayehi kasher kila Yitzchak levarech et Yaakov, vayehi ach yatso yatsa Yaakov me'et pnei Yitzchak aviv, ve'esav achiv ba mitzedo. So you'll notice there's a lot of tzaddiks in this verse. It's alliterating. It is being what it's being. So vayehi ka'asher. So and it was as ka'asher as soon as I guess kila. So this is like a vayachulu to finish in Genesis, right? Um, can have an implication of destroy, but can also just mean to be complete. Right? So kila Yitzchak. So he was finished levarech, blessing at Yaakov. Vayehi, and it was ach. Again, ach is just is a limiting word. So just yatso yatsa. So this is the normal pattern of you know surely left, right? Usually it's translated as surely. Here it's translated as scarcely. I mean, Rashi says ze yotze ze ba yotze yatsa, and that's apparently from Genesis Rabbah. But yeah, yatso yatsa. Honestly, I would mostly say it's just being a very alliterative text. Yaakov me'et Pnei Yitzchak. So the direct object marker being there is a little strange, I would say. But it is there, the direct object marker. It's, interesting. Pnei Yitzchak, right? The face, literally the face of Isaac, right? Aviv, his father, Ve'esav Achiv, and Esav, his brother, Ba Mitzedo, came from his hunt, or his hunting, I guess. Yeah, this verse is being alliterative. That's what I would say. Okay, verse 31. He also had made savory or tasty food and brought it to his father and said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that your soul may bless me." He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, "My father, please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." And he too had made tasty foods, and he brought them to his father, and he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of the game of his son, so that your soul will bless me." V'yas gam hu mat'amim, v'yaveh la'aviv, v'yomer la'aviv, yakim avi, Yakim or Yakim? Yakum. Yakim. Interesting. They're saying Yakum, but it's Yakim. Yeah. Yeah, it should be Yakum, but it's written Yakim. I kind of feel bad. I closed that Tikkun Korim. Okay. Avi, my father, ve'yochal, and mitzed beno ba'avur tevarchani nafshecha. Interesting. He shifts from the third person to the second person. So veyas and made, right? Also him, gamhu, also him. Matamim, right? Tasties. Veyave, he brought it, right? Lavi, to his father. Vayomer Lavi, and he said to his father, Yakim, Yakum. So Yakim literally would mean to establish, which is kind of interesting. Yakum means get up, arise. Avi, my father. Vayochal, and he shall eat. Right? It's in the third person. Mitzed beno, from the game, right? The thing that hunted up. Beno, his son. Right? He's talking about himself in the third person. Ba'avur, and this is b'milui, so that tavarachani, so it will bless me, nafshecha, your soul. So he switches to the second person. Interesting. 32. And his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" So he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esav." His father Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" "I am your son," he answered, "your firstborn, Esav." And his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esav." Vayomer lo Yitzchak aviv, mi ata, vayomer, ani bincha bechorecha, Esav. So he said to him, Isaac, his father, mi ata, who are you? Right, the pronoun is being used as the verb to be. Vayomer, and he said, ani, again, pronoun. This is the less formal one. Bincha, your son, right? Bechorecha, which is I think mostly written bechisaron as it is here. Your firstborn, right? Esav. Next verse. Then Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, "Who? Where is the one who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him, and indeed he shall be blessed." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." And Isaac shuddered a great shudder. We'll read the Rashis because I have to. And he said, "Who then is the one who hunted game and brought it to me? And I ate up everything while you had not yet come, and I blessed him. He too shall be blessed." So, Rashi Vayechared, as the Targum V'tava, an expression of bewilderment, Lashon Tema. According to the Midrash, however, he actually shuddered because he saw Gehinom open before him. So that's interesting. Hared, yeah. Apho is an expression by itself. So the word apho, which means where, which has many uses. Another explanation, apho is a combination of ayepo, what, where, aye, po, here. So that mi apho means who is he and where is he? Me, me apho. Tasted. He too shall be blessed. You shall not. They should not say that Jacob. That had Jacob not deceived his father, he would not have received blessings. Therefore, he concurred and blessed him intentionally. Um, yeah. So he's saying he also will be. So that's interesting that they didn't translate it also. They translated it as indeed. Um, I'm not sure why they decided all indeed instead of also. Um, but Vayichared Yitzchak Harada Gedola Ad Meod Vayomer Mi Af Efo um or Efo, there's no yud there. Who Hatzad Tzayid Vayaveli Vaochal Mikol Beterem Tavo Vaavarchehu Gam Baruch Yihyeh. So, Hared. So the word, you might recognize the word Haredi, right? That's how ultra Orthodox Jews are referred to. Comes from to be fearful of God. Hared Devar Hashem, person who fears the words of God. Vayichared, Cherad. Sorry. So he trembled. He shuddered. He was scared. I mean, you can look up all the places it's used in the Bible. 39 times. I actually expected maybe a little bit more. What do they say? To be bashful or shamefaced, trembling, terrify, quake. It is what it is. Okay, so Yechared Yitzchak Harada Gedola, right? So again, we have that repetitive and alliterative language, and so they're saying trembling exceedingly because it has that Harada Gedola, a great. Well, actually, I mean, Harada Gedola ad meod, right? So Gedola means large or great, right? Ad meod, so very much so, right? So certainly, I mean, it is stressing that. Vayomer, and you said, mi efo, and I'm guessing efo doesn't show up so many times in the Bible. Then efo, efo, Zvul I. You can look at your concordance there. Apho, the word apho means where. Um, they're saying then. Well then, compare Rebo and Bravo. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but aphohu. I would say where, but who Hatzad Tzayid, right? So, um, where is he, or then is he? No, me. Who then? Okay, me Efo. I mean, I would really look at all the other places where they have um 20. Well, this is it also shows up in verse 37. Imken Efo zot asu. Hmm. I mean, they, yeah. There's many places. Then or where, without looking at anything else, I would have automatically assumed it was AFO as in where, because that's what AFO means in modern Hebrew. AFO who, right? Um, me AFO who. Yeah, Rashi's. There's a reason why Rashi decided to say something there. Hatzad Tzayid, right? The one who hunted game. Again, Veyaveh li, right? Ba'ochal. We had all of this. Mikol, right? So that's the interesting part. This Mikol here. Um, and it's, if you look in the Shabbat prayers, you will notice that there's a difference with Mikol, Bakol, right? And Kol. They're Vayunuchubo, Vayunuchuba, Vayunuchubam. Um, there is a whole thing there. If you're interested, ask me. We can talk about it. If you're not, it's a whole shtick there. But that Mikol is of its all, right? It certainly gets darshaned. Beterem Tavo, right? Before you came, and there is that vav there, which is interesting. But before Beterem, we had Terem earlier as well. Tavo, you came. Ve'avarechehu, and I blessed him, right? Gam Baruch Yihyeh. So Gam, indeed, usually it's also and, right? Gam Baruch Yihyeh. Um, also he shall be blessed. Rashi says that, oh, so he agrees to it. I mean, that's a more midrashic explanation. Um, and blessed he shall be. Um, I blessed him, and blessed he shall be. That's how I would have translated it without anybody else. So I guess I understand the indeed there. Okay, 34. When Esav heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me also, O my father." When Esav heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me too, my father." When Esav heard his father's words, he cried out a great and bitter cry, and he said to his father, "Bless me too, O my father." Kishmoa Esav et divrei aviv, veyitzak tza'aka gedola umara, ad me'od, vayomer la'aviv, beracheni gam ani avi. So, Kishmoa is a prepositional chaf, when he heard, right? Kishmoa, when it was heard. I mean, it's in the infinitive, but Kishmoa Esav, right? When Esav heard. Et divrei aviv, the words of his father. Vayitzak tza'aka gedola umara, right? So tzadik ayin kuf means to um, cry out, to call, okay, appeal. Um, I would almost say cry out in pain, right? Um, maybe even groan, maybe. Um, Certainly in modern Hebrew, tzoek is usually translated as shout. Why are you shouting? Um, Vayitzak tza'aka gedola umara. Right. So he cried a cry tza'aka. It's in the feminine. So gedola umara are also in the feminine. Gedola means great or big, right? It's written bechisaron there. Mara means bitter. Miriam, right? Also comes from there. Maror from Passover is bitterness. Um, yeah, so Mara, bitter. Ad me'od, so very much so, and me'od is written without above. Um, Vayomer la'aviv, and he said to his father, Beracheni, bless me. Gam ani avi, also me. So just like Isaac used gam, he also is using gam. Bless also me, my father. Okay, next verse. But he said, your brother came with deceit and has taken away your blessing. But he said, your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. And he said, your brother came with cunning and took your blessing. Rashi is looking at the Targumim. He's saying bechokhmah, with wisdom, with cleverness. Vayomer ba achicha bemirma vayikach birchatecha. So, and he said, came your brother achicha bemirma. Mirma is deceit, treachery. This is the first time it's used in the Bible. It's also used by Hamor. Mirma. Oh, from Rama? From. Oh. Where is Rama? I mean, there says it's used as. But I don't. Like, where is that Rama from deceit? Rama means high up, um, and can mean to cast or shoot. I I don't know why. I mean, it's saying that's acquired. They're not giving the verses where this is mirma. To cast, to impose. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying here. From Rama. Where was it? Mirma from Rama. Who said it from NAS Exhaustive Concordance? Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time in it, but yeah, mirma, deceit, right? Bemir, to do something, bemirma, to do it deceitful. At least that's how it's used, certainly in modern Hebrew. Ramaut, right, is deception. Veikach birkatecha, and he took your. I'm not sure where they got the away from, but he took um, your blessing. And yeah, birkatecha is in the singular, which is interesting. Okay, 36. And Esav said, is he not rightly named Jacob, supplanter or deceitful, literally one who takes the heel? Um, Esav said, isn't he rightly named Jacob? Jacob means he grasped the heel. Hebrew idiom for he takes advantage of or he deceives. Oh, I didn't read the rest. For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now look, he has taken away my blessing. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? And Esav said, is he not rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he has taken my blessing. Then he asked, haven't you reserved any blessing for me? And he said, is it for this reason that he was named Jacob? For he has deceived me twice. He took my birthright, and behold, now he has taken my blessing. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Yeah, so Rashi says Vayakveni, which they translated as deceived, is like the Targum Vechameni, meaning to lay in wait. Yeah. So I'm not sure why they translated it as deceived. But okay. Vayomer Hachi Kara Shemo Yaakov Vayakveni Ze Pa'amayim את בכורתי לקח, והנה אתה לקח ברכתי, ויאמר, הלא אצלת לי ברכה. So, and he said, hachi, so, it's hard to say hachi. So, I would say that it is the pronoun he with he. So, I mean, the article. And the article at the beginning of a word can turn it into a question. I think that's what Rashi is saying as well. What is? Yeah, see, they're saying it. He is the conjunction, and the he, I mean, forget this morphology here. Is the article used to ask a question? So Hachikara. So is this why, or is he not rightly? Okay. Rashi on Hachi is an expression denoting the interrogative, as in. So he gives, 29:15 and midrash. Yeah. So he in Genesis 29:15, he's saying it's used similarly. Yeah, I would say it's the article which turns it into a question of he, which is because, right? So hachi, is it not? And I would say it is a question. Hachi karashamo Yaakov. Is that why he was named? Or is this why he was named? Yaakov. Vayakaveni, and he Yaakoved me, so supplanted me. However you want to translate that, hindered me, right? Ze pa'amayim, these 2 times. So pa'am means a time or an iteration, right? So there is a form in the Hebrew that's called a what's it called? I think it's called a doubling. It's the they have it here. Noun dual. So in Hebrew, there is a dual form, which means that there's singular, dual, and plural, as opposed to in English we have singular and plural, right? So you say I or eyes, right? When you're referring to somebody's eyes, right? Or no, let's say nose, right? So you say nose or no noses, right? Or let's do hands. Hand or hands, right? So one hand is hand, 2 hands is hands, 3 hands is hands, so it's plural. In Hebrew, there's singular, dual, and plural. So yad is singular hand, Yadim is plural hand. Yadayim is two hands, right? So ear, ozen, oznim is multiple, is plural ears. Oznaim is 2 years, the 2 ears. You can do it with almost anything. Chodesh, chadashim, chodshayim, right? So months, 2 months, chodshayim, right? Shvuayim, 2 weeks. Shnatayim is 2 years. Um, uh, Never heard batayim, but I guess you could say houses, 2 houses. Trying to think what else you would say to, but pa'amayim is 2 times, right? Trying to think what else I've heard used into. Let's see what. So they use einayim and oznayim. Um, do they give anything else? Machanayim is 2 camps used in the Bible. Those are all the ones I can think of. Okay. So pa'am is a time. Pa'amim means many times. Pa'amayim means 2 times. It's the dual form. So that is something that exists in Hebrew. Okay. Et bechorati lakach, and notice that bechorati and birchati, it's using the same sounds. It's just in different. It's uh, in different order, and that's part of the alliteration and poetry of the Hebrew, right? So et bechorati lakach, he took my bechorah, my birthright, my being first right. Actually, it's not birthright; it's my firstborn status is bechorah. Um, Birthright would be Yerushati. So I don't agree with the birthright there. Did they say? Yeah, they have birthright here. They have birthright here. What did they say? And they also say birthright. I don't like birthright. I think my firstborn status is really what it is. Vehine, and behold, right? The interjection. Ata, now, right? Et means time. Ata means now. Lakach birchati, he took my bracha. Right? Vayomer, and he said, Hello. So again, the hey, the article at the beginning of a word can turn it into a question. Okay. Um, so hello, is it not? Did you not? Atzalta. So atzal means lazy. Aleph tzadek lamed. Uh, Withhold etzel. Oh, etzel means near, adjoining, proximity. Um, so etzel. Hmm. Etzel does mean. See also Beit Etzel, place in Judah. Might I might be thinking of let's see. No, well, so Atzilut is emanation, which also comes from being close to. Um, yeah, I thought lazy. Um, Nobility, Atzula, Atzilut, delegate, Latzil, nobleman. thought an Atzlan. Maybe I'm thinking of English to Hebrew. Lazy. Yeah. Oh, that's with an ayin. Yeah, that's with an ayin. This is with an aleph. That's why I got it wrong. Okay. Atzalta. So kept near. I guess is probably the best I can do with that. Atzalta. Yeah. Kept near is probably how I would. Reserved is an expression of separation. V'yatzal, Numbers 11:25. Um, Other editions of Rashi, from Targum Onkelos V'Yitzel. Yeah, I guess so. He put apart, set aside. Have you set aside? I guess. Yeah, I would say set aside. Okay, 37. Then Isaac answered and said to Esav, "Indeed, I have made him your master, and all his brethren I have given to him as servants. With grain and wine I have sustained him, or provided support for. What shall I do now for you, my son?" So Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him lord over you, and have made all his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" And Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him a master over you, and I gave him all his brothers as servants, and I will have sustained him with corn and wine. So for you then, what shall I do, my son?" Vaya'an Yitzchak Vayomer le'Esav, Hen gevir samtiv lach, ve'et kol echav natati lo la'avadim, ve'dagan v'tirosh samachtiv, ulcha ulecha, efo ma ese beni. Interesting, this efo again. Okay, so vaya'an, la'anot means to answer. Ein nun hey. Yitzchak vayomer, he said to Esav, hen. So indeed, see, yes, affirmative. We spoke about gevir as master, as in giveret, mistress. Samtiv. So sin vav mem is to set or to put. Right. So I have made him. I have put him, set him. Samtiv. So a master I have made him. Yeah. Lach. And again, this is likely the cancellations, which is changing the lacha to lach, but you can do with that as you like. Ve'et kol echav, and all of his brothers, kol echav, natati, so give or to set, again, natan, lo, I gave to him, la avadim, as servants, slaves. It's the same word, ein bet dalid. V'dagan v'tirosh, right? We had before was grain and wine, right? Samachtiv, interesting. So sign samech mem chaf means to lean against, right? So it can also refer to making a support, right? Let's see what they say. To lean, lay, rest, support. Okay, and I mean, this gets used a lot in Hebrew. 48 times in the Bible. I'm guessing there are various forms. Um, the word smicha, because they supposedly there's the laying of hands. Um, that's it means ordination. So smicha. Um, yeah. So, um, samachti. I have I have supported him. Yeah. Hmm. I have sustained him. I guess I understand. Yeah. Ulacha. So that hey there is kind of strange. Um, and for you, apho again. This apho, where what? It's a question word. I would say. They were saying now or then. They seem to be saying there's a time to it, which doesn't make sense to me. Ma ese beni. What shall I do, my son? Yeah, what shall I do, my son? La sot is to do or to make, and ma is the interrogatory what. 38. And Esav said to his father, "Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O father, O my father." And Esav lifted up his voice and wept. Um, Esav said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." Then Esav wept aloud. And Esav said, "Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." And Esav raised his voice and wept. Um, and Rashi is saying habracha. The hey is an interrogatory, like we've had many times. 2 Samuel 3:33 and Numbers 13:19. Vayomer Esav, and Esav said, El Aviv, to his father, habracha achat hi. So um, that that article there is turning it into a question. Bracha achat hi, without that hey would be that it's one blessing, right? Bracha achat hi, and you only know it's he as opposed to who because of the cantillation. Um, I mean the vocalization. Sorry, lecha, avi, right? So this pronoun is being used as a stand-in for the verb to be. So there is is there only one blessing for you? Yeah. Barcheni gam ani avi v'yisa esav kolo vayef. I'm surprised how they translated that, but barcheni, so bless me. It's in the command form, barcheni. Gam ani, also me, avi. So we keep on getting this gam, this also. Um, Vayisa esav. So yisa we had before is to raise, right? Or yeah, I mean nun sin aleph is to raise, um, and nasi is a prince, somebody who's raised up above other people. But yisa esav, and we use a lot to raise your eyes, which kind of means to see, right? Um, and here raised his voice, lifted his voice. Yisa esav kolo, right? To raise your voice. Kolo, his voice, right? Written bechisaron. Vayevk, and he um, cried. So the root is bet chaf hey, to weep, um, and he wept. 39. Then Isaac his father answered him and said to him, "Behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness or fertility of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above." His father Isaac answered him, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above? And his father answered him and said to him, Behold, your dwelling place shall be the fat places of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above. So this is very different understandings. Um, Interesting. So Rashi is not going to go there. V'yan Yitzchak aviv, v'yomer alav, hine mishmane haaretz yihye moshavecha, umital hashamayim ma'al. So I don't understand why they're saying away. I guess you could translate it that way, but uh, I wouldn't. And the NIV is saying away. Hmm. I mean, I can understand it. I wouldn't do it. So Vayan and answered Isaac Aviv, his father, said to him with an olive, Hine, behold, Mishmane, right? Like we said before, the fatness of the land we said before, oils, right? Mishmane haaretz, Yihye moshavecha, um, shall be your moshav is like a place of a settlement, and I mean a moshav in modern Hebrew is a farm. Um, your settlement, your dwelling, right, will be from the fatness of the earth. I'm not. I don't. I understand how you could translate that. I guess from the from. I wouldn't do it myself. Umital hashamayim ma'al. And again, this ma'al, I can almost understand them translating, but that doesn't make sense to me at all. And umi, right, and from tal we had before was the dew, hashamayim of the heavens, ma'al from above. So they're translating that as away. Hashamayim ma'al, no, no, from above. So I'm gonna have to disagree with the NIV there. Um, doesn't make sense to me. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother, and it shall come to pass when you become restless, then you shall break his yoke from your neck. Interesting. Um, you will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother, but when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck. Uh, well, we have things to say about that. And you shall live by your sword, and you shall serve your brother, and it will be when you grieve that you will break his yoke off your neck. Um, mm, okay. Ve'al charbecha tichye, ve'et achicha ta'avod, ve'haya ka'asher tarid ufarakta ulo me'al tzavarecha. So Va'al harbecha. This is the preposition with the ayin, but by your sword, right? Cherev is sword. By your sword, with your sword. Tichye, you shall live, sustain yourself, right? Um, yeah, to, to, to sustain yourself, I would probably say tichye. Ve'et achicha ta'avod, and you shall serve, or I mean, it's the same word as eved, servant or slave. Ein bet dalet, and written um, bechisaron. V'haya ka'asher tarid, and it shall be when you tarid become restless. So I can understand saying that this is from mered, which means um, to rebel, but I would probably say that it comes from reda, which means to go down, right? Laredet, to go down, uh, like the Jordan, right? Yarden. What did Rashi say? Tarid is an expression of, from Psalm 55, Arid besichi, 55:3. I will lament in my speech. Um, oh, interesting. Uh, okay, I'm not gonna get into all of the stuff there, but he says that it's like the one in Psalm. Um, they're saying become restless. Rod, four times to become restless. Let's see. Psalm 55 2, right? This is the same one that Rashi says restless, but they're saying um, he translates it slightly to grieve. Amru ami rednu lo navo, Jeremiah. And here, Yehuda od rad im kel. Unruly. Interesting. And I would have assumed it has to do with down, Loredet, to go down. Asher tarid uparakta. So perek actually means chapter. Um, to a break off. Also, I guess it is in a way related to perish, right? Um, to take off, but porek ol is to break a yoke. It's a common expression, prikat ol, right? And one of the reasons that Esav is called Blial, right? Belial, you might know the word in English, Belial, which is definitely something negative. Often in Hebrew, we say somebody who has not the yoke of heaven is a Blial, right? Um, so Rashi's saying when Israel doesn't act as it should, right? Ka'asher tarid, uparakta ulom al tavarecha. You shall take it from upon, and this is with an ayin, tavarecha, your neck, and this is in the singular tavarecha. We had neck before this tonight. Okay, 41. So Esav hated Jacob because of the blessing that with which his father blessed him. And Esav said in his heart that the days of mourning for my father are soon here, are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Esav held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to him, the days of mourning of my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Um, And Esav hated Jacob because of the blessing that his father had blessed him. And Esav said to himself, let the days of mourning for my father draw near. I will then kill my brother Jacob. Uh, Veistom, interesting. I was not expecting that. Um, so sin tet mem, which is to cherish animosity or see it. I want to say this must be related to Satan, Samech. I mean sin at nun. Yeah. I mean mem and nun. Oof. Uh, nun is not considered as a strong root. Certainly, if like me, you believe in two-letter roots. These are related. But yeah, to bear a grudge, I guess is how most people translate it. What did Rashi say? Vayistom. Um. Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't mention stone. Okay. Um. Yeah. So Vayistom Esav et Yaakov. So he hated. He bore a grudge. I would put was adverse to, or because I would use that word adversary in there. Adversary, accusation. Um, Esav et Yaakov, his uh, yeah, that's the direct object of my prayer there. Al habracha, right? Regarding or because of the blessing, that's with an ayin. Asher baracho aviv, that his father blessed him. Vayomer Esav, and he said, Belibo, in his heart, right? So to say something in your heart, to say it in Hebrew, to think it, or um, to say it silently. Yikrevu Yemei Evel Avi. So interesting. I the simple translation is that he's saying should happen, right? He's he is imploring for it, right? Um, Karev means close. Kuf resh bet, right? Uh, so a sacrifice is called a korban because you bring it close, right? Um, Yikravu should come close, shall come close, do come close, I guess. Yemei Evel Avi. So it's construct chain. Yamim is days. Evel Aleph Bet Lamed is morning. That's what the thing is. And Avi, of my father. Ve'aharga et Yaakov Achi. Achi, my brother. So Hereg, He Resh Gimel, is to kill. Retzach is a murder. So Hereg is not necessarily murder. Retzach is murder. Et Yaakov Achi, my brother. Okay. 42. Let's see. And the words of Esav, her older son, were told to Rebecca. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, surely your brother Esav comforts himself concerning you by intending to kill you. When Rebecca was told what her older son Esav had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, your brother Esav is planning to avenge himself by killing you. And Rivka was told of the words of Esav, her elder son, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and she said to him, behold, your brother Esav regrets his relationship to you and wishes to kill you. I actually did a whole thing on mitnachem, um, on and the root nacham. If you're interested, go listen to that. I did a whole thing. So vayugad le Rivka et divrei Esav. So yugad is the hufal, which is the passive of the causative. So it reached, right, neged, um, to be conspicuous. Okay. Um, yeah, like Haggadah, to, right. Yeah, the you got, and it was told, and it reached, right, Lerivka, um, to Rebecca, and was told. Yeah, I guess I would translate it Et divrei Esav, the words of Esav, Benah, her son, Hagadol, the older or bigger, right? Hagadol. Vatishlach, and she sent. Shin lamed het is to send. Also means to kind of reach out, especially shluach yad, to stretch your hand out, um, which is used in Genesis, that term. Um, so she sent, yeah, she sent. Vatikra, and she called, right? Kufresh Aleph, to call. Le Yaakov Benah Hakatan, right? To Yaakov, her younger son. And Gadol and Katan are juxtaposed a lot in the Bible. Vatomer Alav, and she said to him, preposition with an Aleph, Hine Esav Achicha, behold or surely, right? Esav, your brother, mit Nachem, consoles himself is usually how I would translate that. Regrets maybe. Look, if you're interested, look at I did a video on Nachem, that root. Lecha lahorgecha, right? So he comforts himself by thinking of killing you. Yeah. So it's mitnachem. It's in the hitpael. It's in the um, reflexive, and look up the root nachem. I just did it like a month or two ago. Okay. 43. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee to my brother Lavan in Haran. Now then, my son, do what I say, flee at once to my brother Lavan in Haran. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, and arise, flee to my brother Lavan to Haran. Ve'ata beni shama bekoli, vekum barach lecha el Lavan achi Harana. Okay, so Va'ata, and now, Beni, my son, Shema bekoli. It's in the command form. Listen to my voice, like we had before. It's written bechisaron. Vekum, and rise up, or yeah, rise up and get up. Right, kum. We talked about. This is it's in the command form. It's written b'milui. Berach. So this is to flee, bet resh het, to seek refuge, to go through, flee, and you can use your concordance there. It is a common thing. Livroach, 65 times it's used in the Bible, which is quite a bit for a root. And this is the command form. The interesting thing is, it says flee for yourself, barach lecha, or flee for yourself is how I would translate it. I guess it is a little bit. I mean, it's not as strange as it sounds in English, but barach lecha is save yourself. Maybe is how I would translate it. El with Aleph, Lavan is his name. Achi, my brother. Harana, and again, they have this wrong, that hey at the end is not third person feminine singular. That hey is the directional hey at the end. So towards Haran. Towards Haran, not in Haran. Haran, I guess in Haran, maybe. Okay, 44. And stay with him a few days until your brother's fury turns away. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. And you shall dwell with him for a few days until your brother's wrath has subsided. Veyashavta imo yamim achadim ad asher tashuv chamat achicha. So I kind of expected that to be Haran instead of Hamat, just because Haran, right, is the place he's going to. So I kind of expected that alliteration. Veyashavta imo, and you shall stay with him, you shall settle with him, you shall be with him. Yamim achadim. So, achad means one, right? And things that are few are called achadim, right? A few. Um, Days, right? Yamim achadim, singular days, literally, I guess it is. Ad asher tashuv. So ad asher, until tashuv again is um. So it is alliterating with lashevet, and we've discussed the two-letter root thing, right? Shin vav bet is to return, um, or repent, right? But turns away, I guess, is makes sense. Um, Chamat achicha. So home literally means heat. Um, Chama can, I guess it's sun, right? Heat or rage. From Yacham? Yacham I didn't expect. Where is Yacham used? Huh, I guess it is used. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. But the root, I mean, there's definitely het mem is chama is also, the sun is called the chama. um achicha, the heat of your brother, literally, but the fury of your brother, yeah, I guess fury is also okay. 45. um until your brother's anger turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him, then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved also of you both in a one day? um it's very interesting that she says what you have done to him. It was your plan, Rebecca. Okay, 45. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send a word for you to come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Until your brother's rage subsides um, from you and he forgets what you did to him, and I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of both of you on one day? Interesting. Ad shuv af achicha mimecha v'shachach et asher asita lo v'shalachti v'la'u lekachticha misham lama eshkal. Interesting. Um, Gam Shnechem Yom Echad. Okay, so Ad Shuv, until returns, like we had Shuv before. Now this time the word for anger is Af, which literally is the nose. So Haron Af is a term for anger, right? Your nose flares. Um, but Af refers, Haron also refers to anger, right? Um, Af achicha, right? Literally the nose of your brother, but the anger of your brother. Mimecha, from you, right? V'shachach, shachach means to forget. Shin chaf het, it's used a lot. How many times is it used in the Bible? It's very common. 103 times in the Bible. But yeah. and he shall forget et asher asita, that which you have done, lo, to him. Asher asita, you have done or made for him. The shalachti, again, to send, right? Like we said. Vel ulekachticha, and I will take you, misham, from there. Bring you from there. I would translate it to take you from there. Lama, interrogatory, why? Lema, right? For what reason? Ma means what? Lama means why? For what? Eshkol, that is an interesting, eshkal, sorry. Shin chaf lamed, to be bereaved. Used quite a few times in the Bible, actually. 23 times. Let's see what it says here. Shakal compares Syriac, loss of children, to chal. And Arabic, I guess, is to mourn. Let's see, where else is it used? This is the first time it's used in the Torah. Shechalo is to miscarry. Shikaltem, bereaved me of my children. I guess it's specifically to lose children. Yeah, it seems to specifically be talking about losing your kids. So I was actually wondering why it said the two of you, and why it was so clear that it was Isaac, that she was talking about Esav and not Isaac. But apparently it's very this verb is very much about children. Eshkol, I will be where both of you. This teaches that one who buries his child is called shakul, right? So that verb. And so concerning Jacob, it is said, 43:14, as I am bereft, I shall be bereft. Um, yeah, I guess there he's also talking about losing his children. Gam shnechem. If he rises up against you and you kill him, his sons will rise up and kill you. And the divine spirit poured itself upon her, and she prophesied that they would die on the same day as is delineated in the chapter 13a. Yeah, Gam Shnechem. Don't know what to tell you. Because if Esav were to kill you, your children would kill him. He hasn't had children yet, so not sure what that means. No, if you kill him, then his kids will kill you. Yeah, he does have sons. Yeah, so, but oh, I guess she means to say that he definitely would. Well, it didn't happen, so don't know what to tell you. Um, to me, it kind of sounds like, when one kid kills the other, you kind of lost both of them. You know what I mean? And was that the last verse? No, there's one more verse. Okay. And Rebecca said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Het. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Het, like those who are the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? Interesting. But then Rebecca said to Isaac, I am disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Het. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Het like these, from the daughters of the land. Of what use is life to me? So let's actually see the Hebrew. Vatomer Rivka el Yitzchak katzti b'chayai mipnei benot het im lokeach Yaakov isha mibenot het kaele mibenot haaretz lama li chayim. Some mother-in-law. Okay, Vatomer Rivka and Yiv. So Rebecca said, El with Aleph, Yitzchak, Katzti. So Kutz means end. Kuf Vav Tzadik. Loathing, abhorrence, or sickening dread. I mean, the summer kites. Compare. This is a different one. Kut with a het. Ugh. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, katzti b'chayai. I guess disgusted or. I almost want to say it's related to end, but I understand it kind of isn't. Yeah. So, however you want to do cats, weary, tired. Yeah. Use your concordance. This is the first time it's used in the Bible. V'chen yifrotz v'yakutsu mipnei b'nei. Exodus. Ele asu ve'katzbam. Have abhorred them. Katz Moav. Yeah. I mean, use your concordance. Bechayai, with my life, right? Of my life. With my life. Mipnei benot chet, because of the daughters of chet. And benot is written bemilui. Im, if, right? Lokeach. So this is in the present tense, which is kind of interesting that it's in the participle. This is Yaakov isha mi benot chet, takes a wife from, again in Bemilui, the daughters of Chet. Ka'ele, like these. Mi benot haaretz, like again daughters Bemilui, the daughters of the land. Right? I guess this land. I mean, well, it is a construct chain, so the article always goes on the last term. Lama li chaim. Literally, why am I alive? What good is my life? Right? Lama, why? Li chaim. What is to me my life? Okay, I believe that was the last, verse. Zephaniah 3:9. Az epoch el amim. Safa berra likro chulam b'shem havaya lo do shchan. So, for then I will restore to the peoples a pure language, so that they may all call upon the name of God, to serve him with one accord, with one shoulder. Amen. And I am actually going to get out of here. So, good evening.